Cable 13 Sports and McCall Cablevision of Syracuse presents the New York State High School Wrestling Championship. For 13 straight years, the Onondaga County War Memorial in Syracuse has been the site of this tournament, 17 times overall. And once again in 1986, we bring you the finest high school wrestlers in New York State. Hello again, everybody. I'm Dave Cohen, along with former Syracuse University outstanding wrestler John Janiak, as we present the State High School Championships for the 6th time here on Cable 13 Sports from McCall Cablevision. And John, New York State certainly has made a reputation nationally and internationally for wrestling, and many of them got their start right here in Syracuse.
That's right, Dave. This is the hotbed of wrestling in the United States. All the top wrestling coaches from throughout the nation will be here trying to lure their prospective wrestlers to that college.
As a former high school wrestler who competed here in the tournament and at Syracuse University, is wrestling the Rodney Dangerfield of sports? Does it get the respect that really should be coming its way, especially in New York State?
Dave, it's not getting the respect it deserves. It's probably the most mandatory sport as far as conditioning and sacrifices that there is. And it does not get the notoriety as, say, the football and basketball does.
How difficult, John Janiak, is it for a wrestler to compete through the entire high school season, get through the sectional qualifying, and get here to the state championship?
Well, the guys that are here today are the best of the whole field. It's extremely difficult. There's so many upsets in the makings. There's guys that just are giving it their all, but come up a point or two short. The repeat champion is very few and far between.
To actually win here in Syracuse, how many times do you have to wrestle, and how much of a time period do you have?
Well, as far as wrestling here in Syracuse, you have 30, 40 matches to prepare, but you only have a couple minutes in order to make the right decision and move into the final championship.
You've got to wrestle on Friday?
Right, you have Friday, Saturday. You have several bouts.
All right. There's a team scoring competition, too, among the 11 sections, the Catholic high schools and the public schools out of New York City. How important is the team scoring?
Each section prides itself as being the best section in wrestling in New York State. Unfortunately, only one section does win. It's extremely important for that school or section to be the best in New York State. This is it. This is the championship.
Now this year we have two wrestlers who are trying to repeat, although not at the same weight, Darryl Page and Jeff Prescott. Two wrestlers also who won 2 years ago, were upset a year ago, and they're trying to come back, and that's something that has never been done.
No, this is a first for that, as well as a Catholic high school representative in the final. Being a champ once is tough enough. Twice is very difficult, and to come back a year in between is, like you say, it's the first time, and it might be impossible.
Those two wrestlers are Gene McNeil and Rick Brzezinski. We'll come back in just a minute to show you the intricacies of scoring as we continue with the state championships here from Syracuse.
Her parents very proud. She's on the honor roll and plans to go to college. Starred in her class's last play. She plays clarinet in the school orchestra. Yes, Jane knows about drugs. In a way, she's lucky. She knows better. Some people don't realize that marijuana and driving don't mix. But Jane's brother reminds her every day that some trips last forever.
Brought to you by the New York State Public High School Athletic Association.
Welcome back to the New York State High School Wrestling Championships. John, right now let's explain to our viewers, many of whom are familiar with wrestling and many of whom are not, the scoring system.
Okay, Dave, both wrestlers start on their feet. One man will take the other man to the mat, gain control for a 2-point takedown. The referee will signal 2 points for the green braced anklet. Next, we're going to move into top and bottom position, where the top man will get near fall points. The first set of points, exposing the man's back at a 45-degree angle for less than 5 seconds. The next is a touch fall. Both of them are worth 2 points. The next near fall is exposing the man's back for 5 seconds. That's worth 3 points. And then there's a touch fall, 2 points for the pin, which finalizes the match. The match is over. Now we're going to go to top and bottom, where the bottom man can score some points as well.
By the way, on the bottom now is Eric Blumen of Jamesville DeWitt, Neil Pohl on top.
And there's a 1-point escape. We're going to go into a 2-point reversal. And what this is, Dave, is the bottom man reverses his positioning, comes up on top for a 2-point reversal. And there's also points awarded to the one wrestler if the other wrestler is a little bit unfair by pulling hair, clawing the face, going against joints, elbows, shoulders, trying to cause injury to a wrestler.
Now, a wrestling hold that everybody has heard about at a young age is a full Nelson. Legal or illegal?
Well, it's illegal in college and high school. International, it's legal. And that's where you grasp both hands behind the wrestler's neck. And as you can see, Dave, there's a lot of pressure, could cause injury.
How about a half Nelson?
A half Nelson by Gene Mills is legal anywhere in the world.
What about officials in terms of penalizing wrestlers for stalling?
Okay, Dave, there's stalling cautions at first, and then they go into a 1 point for the 2 stallings in a row. Then the third or fourth, I believe, is worth 2 points. The 5th time you're called for stalling, the match is over, you're gone.
One other element you won't see tonight, riding time. That's part of college wrestling. We'll be back with our first match right after this.
Proper care and feeding of a teenager. Number 1 rule, don't let them drink alcohol. Rule number 2, never let them get into a car with a driver who has been drinking. Rule number 3, never, ever, under any circumstances, allow him to take illegal drugs. To grow up a happy, healthy teenager is important. If you love them, you'll take good care of them.
Brought to you by the New York State Public High School Athletic Association.
Welcome back to the Onondaga County War Memorial in Syracuse. Dave Cohen along with John Janiak as we get set to bring you the 1986 championship. This is the 24th year that this tournament has been conducted, and the wrestling people over the years have really had their act together. This is one of the most successful, if not the most successful tournament run on a statewide basis. We're getting set now for action at 91 pounds. And here is the introduction of Troy Bouzakis out of Pine Bush in Middletown. He is an 8th grader representing Section 9, and his opponent will be Jerry Robinson from Ithaca High School out of Section 4, a senior at Ithaca High School, Jerry Robinson.
With a season's record 29-3-0, all but 5 were pins or technical falls.
This will be the first weight class, the 91-pound class, and then we'll jump up to 98 and continue right through to 250.
Should be a great match, Dave. Troy doesn't look like an 8th grader.
91 pounds, Troy Bouzakis, Jerry Robinson. Troy is much shorter than Jerry. Well, not much shorter, but Jerry has got that angular build. Long and lean, but they can be deceptive, right?
Oh, sure. He'll use his leverage as much as possible, Dave.
Here we go. Bouzakis is in the blue. Robinson
with a single leg. He's got a 2-point takedown. Troy throughout the tournament has started out fast and gone in for the pin right away. Starting the finals the same way, Dave.
We've got 2 officials out on the mat. Each official has the red and green wristbands that correspond to the red and green anklets worn by the wrestlers. The home wrestler is Bouzakis in the blue, and he's got the green anklet.
Troy is trying to apply a cradle right now. He's got the head in the ribs. He's going to have to try to take him over his head. They're out of bounds.
Troy Bouzakis undefeated this year. 30 wins, no losses, no draws, and he's leading here 2-0. John, what's likely to happen when you get a man in this position?
Well, several things. Troy's very confident with the new style on top, standing from behind. It's leaning toward the freestyle wrestling in the Olympics.
How new is it?
It's just came into play this year, as a matter of fact. They toyed with it on the college level last year and made it mandatory in the high school level this year.
Bazakis is in blue, Robinson in red.
Troy shot in for a barrel roll, stopped and changed off to a single leg. It's surprising to see a young wrestler use so many chain wrestling moves, Dave. He misses on one move. Have timeout, looks like an injury.
Holding his head is Jerry Robinson out of Ithaca High School. 29-3 this year, 67-20. He appears to be okay, shook it off. Man in the picture now recently received an award.
Orlando Turco, coach of Ithaca. He's been around for 30 years. Also an official.
There was the injury. It looked like a headbutt from behind.
Certainly did. Didn't seem to bother Troy at all.
Only an 8th grader.
Troy will start on top.
There's the point awarded.
3-4-2, Dave. I'm surprised Troy went back to that position on top. He lost him the first time, too.
Bazakis is leading. Bazakis in blue leads 4-2. Robinson got the 1 point for the escape. Now 2 points awarded to Bazakis.
It'll be 6-2. Excellent on his feet for a young wrestler. 8th grade. Out of bounds.
John, explain the out of bounds.
Well, on most mats, it's a 42-foot mat, Dave. And the out of bounds, all the action has to be within the outer white circle. And that's the only place that points can be scored in high school and college style. In freestyle, points are awarded outside if the move is initiated in the white lines.
He went right off the mat onto the wooden flooring here that's covering the concrete floor. There's no ice down at the War Memorial. What's going through Robinson's head there as he's underneath?
I'll be darned if I know right now, Dave. He's a senior. He's got to start getting offensive. There's a buzzer. The first period's over. He's down 6-2. He's probably telling himself to get off the bottom as fast as possible.
Now the coin flip. Is there an option involved?
Yes, there is. The man that has the heads come up, if he calls heads, has his choice if he wants top, bottom, or this year, a new rule, both men can stand. Or he can waive his option to the other man.
Would he then get the option for the third period?
Yes, he would.
Putting a little more thinking into it, huh?
Sure does. I don't know if the wrestlers really grasp it when they're in the heat of battle, what they really want to do at that point. A lot of coaching, you'll hear the coach yell, "Give him the choice, give him the choice."
By the way, Troy Bazakis got here by defeating Matt Van Heusen of Section 3. Then he beat Scott Sabella of Section 7. And he took Rich Anderson in a pin in 245.
Did not have a close match this whole tournament, Dave.
Jerry Robinson had a bye in the first round, defeated Nelson Coley. Then he took Lance Banfi.
Jerry Robinson also trying to play the cradles, near side cradle, now a far side cradle. Trying to use his leverage.
Still a 6-2 lead for the 8th grader Troy Bazakis. Is the action now a little bit slower than you might expect at this weight class?
For 91 pounds it is. David, I think that's because the top man right now, Jerry, is a leg wrestler and a cradle wrestler. If he was an upper body and throwing arm bars and half Nelsons, it would be a little quicker pace.
Is stamina much of a factor at the lower weights?
It seems these little guys never run out of energy. They just keep going for, it could be an hour-long match. Is where the heavyweights, you never know if they started halfway through the match.
What do you think Robinson's trying to do right now?
He's trying that far side cradle right now, Dave. He's got it locked up, but he can't bring Troy's head and knee together, enable him to bring him to his back.
Half a minute to go here in the second period. Still 6-2, Bazakis leading.
Jerry Robinson's going to have to try something new right now, Dave. Troy's just too strong. Being an 8th grader, 14 years old, he seems like he's got the build of a senior. Tries to switch right off the bottom, doesn't get it.
Have we ever had an 8th grader win a state championship?
I don't believe we have, David. I know we had a 9th grader win. This would be a first. And if he wins this year, Dave, he's going to have to repeat 4 in a row.
And nobody's ever gone beyond a 3-time state champion. So we're now to the closing seconds now in the second period, and the score will remain 6-2.
It's a good period for Robinson, but unlike college, he doesn't get a minute riding or a point for a minute riding time. So he's going to have to go to the pin for near falls to get this match close and hopefully win it.
How do you feel about that? The absence of riding time.
Well, it's great if you have the minute riding time and you win the match by it. I think it's good that the wrestlers don't have it, because they would probably just ride on top instead of initiate action and go for the pin.
On deck at 98 pounds, Lou Roselli of Royalton Heartland. In Middleport, and Darrell Page out of Elmira Notre Dame. Darrell Page, a defending champion at 91 pounds. He's moved up to 98. Troy Bazakis in the blue, Jerry Robinson in the red. Final period.
Looks as though that Troy might be a little bit tired in the third period. We're just trying to coast to his 6-2 win right now.
He's only 14 years of age. My goodness, how young do they start him now?
Dave, now they start him in Pee-wee programs at the age of 4 or 5. Not too many years after they learn to walk, they're wrestling. And I'm sure Troy is a product of probably a Pee-wee program there in Section 9. He seems like he has the finesse. He's been wrestling for 10 years.
Work his head and go. Work your head and go.
Jerry Robinson's going to have to make something happen right now.
I bet there's a few college scouts looking on now and just wondering, will the next 4 years go by quickly for this young man?
And you don't know which weight he's going to be at, Dave, either. 2 points for Troy, good takedown.
That now gives him a commanding 8-2 lead with 50 seconds to go in the match.
It's going right up to the half Nelson. Robinson trying to roll through. Stopped by Troy.
Come on, Jerry, 30 seconds. Move. Get up. Move. Make it rush.
Troy's got an arm bar.
Come on.
He's going to run it up over. Nice move. Taking Jerry Robinson to his back. It's up on his toes. Looks good, Dave. He's got at least 2 at this point for near fall.
I hope you got that on film.
Down to 10 seconds to go. Those additional points have yet to be awarded. And here's the applause for the 8th grader, Troy Bazakis.
Super job. He's going to have a great career in high school. That's what they work all year for, Dave, right there.
That picture tells the story. He is one happy young man.
And tired.
And tired.
He gave it everything he had.
And the crowd really loves the job turned in by Troy Bazakis. So a good start to the wrestling here at the state championships. We'll move up now to the 98-pound weight class. And let's meet the 2 wrestlers at 98 pounds. From Section 6 out of Royalton Heartland High School, Middleport, New York, Lou Roselli. He's a sophomore, age 15. And he'll be wrestling against Darrell Page from Elmira Notre Dame. A sophomore, 15 years of age, undefeated this season from Elmira, New York. Darrell Page, the 1985 champion at 91 pounds. He's moved up now to 98. He'll be wearing the red. And Lou Roselli will be in the orange, representing Section 6. The defending champion from a year ago, Darrell Page. He's one of 2
98 pounds.
trying to repeat as New York State champions. In our next match at 105 pounds, we'll see last year's 98-pound winner, Jeff Prescott. Right now, the wrestler is being introduced to the crowd. The record here in 1985-86 for Lou Roselli, 35-0, and a career record of 84-7.
Dave, it's a shame that after this match, somebody's going to have a blemish on the record. 35-0 and 32-0. That's a whole heck of a lot of wrestling for one season.
John, back in your high school days, did you wrestle this often?
Dave, we'd go into the sectional or state championships with maybe 17, 18 victories.
Here we go, Roselli and Page. Maybe a little difficult to tell them apart because of the colors of their uniform. So the man with the knee pads who is wearing the red is Darrell Page of Elmira, wearing the black or the dark knee pads. Section 6 is Lou Roselli. 2 undefeated wrestlers this year.
Both wrestlers seem to be feeling each other out, Dave, trying to feel their strengths, quicknesses before they put their offense to work. Both stocky wrestlers.
John, is there the equivalent of a counterpuncher in wrestling?
There sure is. we call them defensive wrestlers. When a man shoots, they react to the situation. And most often than not, those wrestlers are great. They really are. They're not as much fun to watch, maybe, because it's a low-scoring match, but they are good. Single leg attempt near the out of bounds.
No scoring yet. We're nearly a minute into this match. Can the wrestler who appears to be more aggressive influence the scoring at all?
Not without scoring the points themselves. He can attempt 12 takedowns, but if he doesn't meet the criteria, he won't be awarded the points.
Page has his back to you now. Roselli trying to gain the upper hand. Page was shooting.
Single leg takedown.
Again, they spill out with 41 seconds to go in a scoreless first period.
You gotta go. You got a pressure in there. You gotta go.
You hear a lot of instructions being shouted from the corner. Are you allowed to coach per se?
You can yell moves, mostly encouragement. When you get to international style, Dave, all you can yell is encouragement. Coaching is not allowed. As a matter of fact, they will probably throw you out of the gym if you mention one move. At the high school level, it's actually needed.
Roselli made the move, but Page was quick. Offense wins the match is what one coach has yelled. You may have heard that.
Dave, I think the action will pick up in the second period, top and bottom.
No scoring here in the first period, and it's just come to an end.
The butterflies should be out of both men.
Let's look at how they got here. Roselli defeated Kurt Miner in the semifinals. Before that, he defeated Eric Plimpton and Charles Marshall. Darrell Page was a winner over Keith Ketchum and Marcel Cooper and Mark Smith in the opening round.
And Darrell Page had an overtime victory, 1-0.
That was over Keith Ketchum from Section 11. Section 11, by the way, has the largest contingent here in the finals. They have 5 wrestlers. Section 5 has 4, and Section 8 has 4.
Section 11 also has a substantial team lead in point-wise at this particular moment.
They are the defending champions as well.
Section 4 has 4 men.
We still have no score, 35 seconds into the second period.
Both men just have shots. They're very cautious out there. Got some action going on there. 2 points awarded by official Gene Miley.
And those 2 points go to Lou Roselli. Roselli's on top now.
Both men being sophomores, I'm sure they're going to be finalists again next year.
Second year in a row in the finals for Paige, a winner at 91 pounds last year.
Selly just riding at this point, not working for the fall. I think if he continues to lay back, referee's going to hit him with a caution for stalling. On the other end, Paige hasn't really made a great attempt to get off bottom.
And he's behind 2-0 now. We get a whistle to stop it.
He's going to repeat as champion. He's going to have to open up.
Louis, stay behind the hip. Stay behind the hip. Watch the Grammy. Stay behind the hip.
1 point was awarded. I'm not quite sure what for.
Break his hips down flat. Don't let him up.
I missed the call, Dave. Might have been a stalling call
I think
after
it was
all.
a stall. Paige tried for the escape, which would have tied it. Down now to the final 10 seconds in period number 2.
Out of bounds. Dave, you see a lot of wrestlers on top riding with a half Nelson from one side or the other. Came in to the wrestling scene a few years ago with Gene Mills, and it seems like everybody's incorporated in their style of wrestling. I haven't seen anybody use it as good as Gene lately, but there's a lot of imitations out there. There's a nice tilt to the far side. I think he's going to get close to back points. Time runs out. Very close there.
Official right down on the mat was saying no. So the second period has come to an end, and it is still a precarious lead of 2-1 for Roselli there with the number 6 on his wrestling singlet.
And Lou would like the final score to be in his favor. The 2-1 victory he can live with at this point.
He scored a 10-3 semifinal win. Darrell Page eked out a 1-0 overtime victory.
Keep it on the mat and make it work now.
Might be the nerves getting to Page at this point.
He's one of 2 men who has a chance to repeat as a state champion. Right now he's trailing by a point.
Out of bounds.
In the event this match is tied, what will happen?
Dave, they'll go into a overtime, which should be a 1 minute first period, 1 minute second, and 1 minute third. If it's tied at that point, they go on a criteria basis, and I believe that's who scored the first 2-point move or first 3-point move, actually.
We've had only one 2-point move in the entire match.
Lou Roselli's working the arm bars pretty good to the side and the tilts. Very tough on top. Good hand control. He's got a 2-on-1. He's keeping his weight on top of Darrell Page. Just missing those back points. And time's running out for Darrell Page. Minute 15 left.
What would he be best advised to try now? Page on the bottom.
Well, I'm not quite sure what his strong points are, but in this particular case, whatever works best for you to get off the bottom is what you have to go to. It's your ace in the hole. He doesn't seem like he's going for anything, and all of a sudden he gets his 1 point. He's very close to a 1-point escape. He should award it right now.
Yes.
We got a tie match, Dave. Out of bounds.
52 seconds left. Now Roselli looking back to his coach for some quick instructions. Here we go. Crowd is into this one. Will somebody become daring, or will they be overly cautious now?
Well, with 40 seconds left on the clock, I think both men would probably want to go into overtime.
That's Roselli's coach.
Yelling instructions, trying to get him to get the 2 points. He's got 25 seconds left. Gets the fans yelling, stalling. I'm not quite sure which wrestler they're calling him for.
Here we go, 10 seconds to go. Now you don't want to make a foolish mistake now.
No, not one you got to live with for the whole season, or a whole summer anyways. Very close to a 2-point takedown right there.
And we will go to overtime.
Speak of the devil. Roselli was trying to get his 2 points. I don't think he wanted to go into overtime. He wanted that state championship right away. I'd say he's a little bit thirsty right now.
They'll get a minute here between periods?
Yes, they will. Give him a chance to get loose, get a breather, then back out for 3 minutes of tough wrestling.
What would you be telling him now? What do you suppose he's being
Well, both
told?
coaches are rubbing him out, and they're explaining what he was doing wrong in the match or what he should be looking forward and doing in the overtime. Getting back to basics, Dave. If he didn't get off the bottom, why he didn't. His takedowns, why he missed.
At this point in the match, do you suppose either wrestler has a technique he hasn't tried yet? Is there an element of surprise still remaining?
I believe that's why it went into overtime, Dave, because both wrestlers got here with phenomenal records. They both have. Verselli's got 15 pins and Page has 14 pins. Both are very good on top. They haven't shown anything yet.
They stand here in the first overtime.
Coming out a little quicker pace than they did in the regulation period, first period. Tying up upper body. High crotch attempt by Darrell Page.
We will go through all 3 overtimes, barring a pin.
Correct, Dave. It's just like a regulation match, just half the time. Wrestlers seem to be near the out of bounds quite a bit lately.
Next up after this one at 105 pounds, Shannon DeRoshi and Jeff Prescott. Once again, Lou Rosselli out of Middleport, Royalton, Heartland High School is in the orange with a number 6. And Elmira Notre Dame's Darrell Page.
Dave, I'd like to point out at this time that in the overtime, score clock goes to 0 for both men. What happened in the regulation match is history, and they start over at scratch, 0-0.
End of the first overtime period, there was no scoring. Now the coin flip. The choice is Rosselli's, and he'll be up.
Now he elected to start out in referee's position standing. He has the option to do 3 things, Dave, and he opted to go for the takedown. Trying to spin behind here.
There's only been 1 2-point move in this entire match, and Rosselli got it early.
Right, and that would be the criteria that he would win the match by. Not much action.
The crowd is continuing to yell he's stalling, but as you said earlier, which one are they talking about?
Another snap down, spin behind, tried by Rosselli.
How far across the line does he have to go before they'll stop it?
Well, one wrestler can be totally out of bounds, and until the opponent's supporting parts are out, they'll continue the wrestling. Some of the jammed crowd we have here today. Almost sounds like a pro wrestling match at this point.
Yeah, they'll be here later in the week. End of the second overtime period, no scoring. So now, this will be the final minute of wrestling you'll see between Lou Rosselli and Darrell Page.
We were talking earlier, Dave, about the riding time. This is the first time one man's taken the top position. Had it been instituted at the beginning of the season, he would be awarded. There's 2 points. That could be the match if he hangs on. Now he's got a cradle, Dave. He's trying to get more back points.
Rosselli looked to be the more determined as they began this third overtime. And I think Page was tired.
Certainly is. 2 points.
Only a half a minute left now for Page if he wants to repeat as a champion.
He's going to have to do something now. So with a tight waist, he goes to. He's got 2 more. He should have had a pin there, Dave. roll
is in
through.
control.
Gerald Page tried to roll through. Roselli stopped him on his back, and I thought it was a pin. So it took him into overtime to win. But he looked great in that third period.
Lou Roselli really sucked it up there at the beginning of that third period.
Certainly did.
He really came out firing.
Ah, what a feeling. That's great. We're going to and a replay. He's got a cradle in here.
Let's see if this is where you thought the pin should have been called.
I believe here he's going to come back to his base and then try the roll through. Roselli on top, Page on the bottom.
See Page's face? He's frustrated there.
No, we didn't get to it on that shot.
So we'll move now to 105 pounds. And in this match we'll have Shannon DeRoshi of Messina High School, a 17-year-old junior.
17-year-old junior.
And he'll be up against Jeff Prescott, a winner at 98 pounds a year ago from Olean High School. Jeff Prescott is a junior, 17 years of age, and with a chance to join some pretty exclusive company as a 3-time winner if he gets by this match.
Oh, this is an all-important one, Dave. And the pressure mounts every year.
So it'll be Section 10 against Section 6.
From Section 6.
DeRoshi of Messina, Prescott of Olean.
High School.
Prescott there in the orange, the number 6 from Olean.
39-0 with 34 pins. Career record 121, 17-0.
By the way, going back to that previous match, Darryl Page suffering his first loss of the year and only his second career loss in 71 matches. Here we go, action at 105 pounds. Shannon DeRoshi is in the dark uniform, and Jeff Prescott. Got that leg right around the head.
Yeah, it's a funny position they have there. I'm glad they stopped it. There could be an injury there. Looks like Shannon's knee was twisted around.
Prescott on top.
Double leg tackle attempt. No points awarded here. There's no control. I think this might end in a stalemate right here. It says here, Dave, that Shannon likes to play baseball and football. I can't picture a 105 football player out there.
Well, small schools and small areas. I got to get down to those weights.
Nice fireman's carry attempt by Jeff Prescott.
I remember a pretty good wrestler locally, a football player, now football coach at St. Lawrence, Joey Kimball.
Joe Kimball. That's right, he was a 134-pounder, state finalist.
Out of West Hill, was it?
Yes, he was. Had some great bouts with Bobby Medina from Baldwinsville. There's another gentleman from West Genesee. His name escapes me right now.
2-0, Prescott has the lead.
Prescott with a tilt. Very close to getting 2 points.
Prescott was the most outstanding wrestler in the Williamsville North tournament, also in the Southern Tier Officials tournament, and in the qualifiers for Section 6. And here he is trying for back points.
Very close. He should be getting some back points right here. Close to a pin. He's going to have to start fighting off his bed. He should be planting his feet and trying to bridge, Dave. He's not doing so. Very close to being pinned. Time
A
running
race
out.
against the clock. And the match continues for Shannon DeRoshi, but he's down 5-0.
It's time to regroup. He was lucky, saved by the buzzer. Here he is again. He's in trouble, Dave.
Oh, real close.
It looks from this position he might be pinned.
Did you ever think about officiating, John?
Every once in a while I think about it, and then I watch a match where the fans torment the official. There's no winning out there. You lose more friends. I'll just stay by the wayside and watch.
Jeff Prescott, his road to the finals here. He defeated Brian Darling. Also Jim Duke. And Arthur Brown.
Stepping over again, Shannon's in a position of almost getting pinned.
Shannon living on the edge. Down now 10-0. Not much suspense in this match.
Now Shannon's using a lot of moves that he probably got away with during the dual meet season. Rolling through on his back, he's getting caught every time with Jeff Prescott.
Shannon defeated Luigi Mara, Tony Rizzo, and Thad Rice to earn the dubious distinction now going up against Jeff Prescott.
Well, he had a good tournament, and Shannon looked tough in the earlier matches during the tournament.
Shannon, by the way, was second last year at 98 pounds. Second to, guess who? Jeff Prescott.
I'm sure he wishes a different outcome this year, but it doesn't seem like it's going to go his way. Although there is another period to go, and we're not quite done with the second period. I might point out, Dave, that there's a technical fall, beating your opponent by more than 15 points. And Jeff Prescott seems to be on his way to one of those victories.
As the two come back on the mat, well, it looks as if DeRoche is considerably bigger than Prescott.
Does he looks like he's in the wrong weight class. Starting in the referee's position, freestyle on top. Gonna snap him back. Gonna go for the arm bar. Looks like Jeff Prescott is a very strong 105 pounder.
He's got those elbows preventing his shoulder blades from hitting.
And he's bridging now.
And 3 more points awarded as the period comes to an end. So now it's 13-0. If that score goes 15-0, they'll stop it.
They'll stop the match. The match is over. And Shannon, once again, was saved by the buzzer. This is the period. He's got to open up or come in second once again. Snap down on. He's got to keep his head up underneath. He's going to get snapped, and Prescott's going to scoot around behind.
Don't go away, because coming up next at 112 pounds, Dave Petoni out of Hilton High School and Mike Streichars from East Meadow.
Slowed down considerably. I'm sure Jeff doesn't mind a 13-0 victory. Both men are juniors. I'm sure they'll be back next year.
Jeff Prescott looking very much like he'll prevail in this one. Would then be 2/3 of his way toward becoming a 3-time state champion. There have been a few of those before. Dan Hunt out of West Genesee, Mark Iacovelli of Ithaca, Bob Berry of Calhoun, Al Palacio of Long Beach, and John Carty of Burnt Hills. That's the time remaining in the match, John.
That's quite a group to be involved with. And Jeff Prescott, with a 39-0 record, has 34 pins this year, Dave. And we've seen in the first 2 periods he's been going for the pin. Nice snap down. That's 2 points, and that does end the match. That's a technical fall. Good job by Jeff Prescott.
1986, New York State 105-pound champion from Section 6.
Real fine sportsmanship on the part of the winner, Jeff Prescott. 2 years in a row, this man is a New York State high school wrestling champion.
91, 98 place finishers should be in the auditorium. 91, 98 place finishers should all be
Jeff
in the
Prescott,
auditorium.
congratulations to him. Young man from Olean High School. Now we'll go to 112. You'll be looking at Section 8's Mike Streichars out of East Meadow, Long Island. 17-year-old junior wearing the green of Section 8. And his opponent in the purple, Dave Petoni from Hilton High School, 17-year-old senior. In his career, Dave Petone has had 120 matches.
112 pounds.
36-2-1 in his senior year, and Mike Streichars 30-1 with a career record of 77-11-0.
Career record 77-11.
It seems like everyone that makes the finals has at least 28, 29 wins. It's a long season.
These two are ready to go right at it, and they have to be held up by the public address announcer. A more formal introduction now. Streichars is in the green, and Dave Petone wearing the purple.
Dave Petone.
Cross ankle pick attempt. He's got to follow through. Nice defense.
Good speed, even though we're at somewhat higher weight class, 112. You can see why these two guys were ready to go at it prematurely. On top right now is Streichars. He's got the yellow headgear too. Streichars was the outstanding wrestler in the East Meadow tournament.
Nice 2-point takedown.
Petone getting those 2 points, trying to turn over Streichars.
Tony went right into throwing the legs on top too.
Dave Petone, we told you, John, is 36-2-1 this year, and his 2 losses came against St. Edwards of Ohio, which is the #1 rated high school wrestling team in the country.
That's a nice place to lose if you're going to lose. Yeah, they have a powerhouse out there, Dave. I know the coaches at Syracuse University, have been trying to recruit some of the talent from out of Ohio. They have a great program going on. Tony using the legs, trying to work on the head, arm bars, turning them. Gonna have to be careful in this position. You get too high, the bottom man will be able to pull you over. Stalemate called by the official.
2-0 is the lead for Dave Petone. He's got his well-wishers here in the War Memorial. 13 years in a row, the championships have been right here in this building.
Seems every year they do a better job, Dave. It's a great tournament.
They go on the whistle.
Tony breaks him down, chopping the arm. Didn't throw the leg in right away this time. Kind of surprised.
Streichars tried to escape, can't get away, and he's going to be on the short end of the score, it looks like, at the end of the first period. 2-0, Dave Petone leading Mike Streichars. And here's the flip. It's the option of the man in red.
We have a caution by the official, man on top. They have to be in a certain position, Dave. If they're not, the referee will call them for a caution. 2 cautions and a point is awarded. That's a tough way to lose a match, so I'm sure he's going to have to be cautious the next time.
Streichars.
Got the leg in. I don't know if he's got 2 points. It's a roll through.
Now he's in
trouble. He's in a tough position. He's got to watch his knee right there, Dave.
2 points were awarded. And now the referee breaks them up.
Good call by the official. And he stopped it at the right time, too. Tony's going to have to roll through a little bit quicker. It only takes a second, and you get nailed for 2 back points.
This is action at 112 pounds.
Streichars also a lacrosse player and football player down on the island. I'm sure he's a heck of a lacrosse player. He's got some back points here too. Should be 2. Almost reversal by Tony. And he gets his 2 also.
So we're tied again, this time at 4. It's been a good second period for Striped Charge as he got back in the match.
Striped Charge coach is telling him to look away. If he turns into him, many wrestlers will end up on their back. Tony trying to work some arm series, back points.
Mike, circle in.
Switch attempt by Mike.
Wait, come on. Come on, Mike. All the way.
Almost all the yelling, the instruction coming from Striped Charge's corner. But Tony's corner is absolutely silent. And the end of the second period. We have ourselves a tie here as we go into the final 2 minutes, barring an overtime.
4-4. Both men going to start up. Striped Charge trying to shoot a single leg to the far side. He's got his head down. He's going to have to be careful down there.
Striped Charge defeated Jim Nalbone and Joel San Pedro and Larry Liberty. Tony with wins over Jeff Jane, John Wagner, and Jeff Lewis.
Tony's got a cradle, but there's no control. The officials aren't awarding any points yet.
Keep the ankle. You step, Mike. Right there, Mike. Ahead, Mike. Push your legs out.
And that's called a stalemate before too long, Dave. Too much time's expired. No man has improved their position.
There is the stalemate call, so they'll stand them up with 1 minute and 1 second to go, all tied at 4 apiece.
It seems that last 3 matches have been a little bit more cautious than I had thought they would be. I thought these wrestlers would jump right out of the gate.
Come on. Turn it.
Right now we're 45 seconds away from our second overtime
Tony
match.
might get the 2-point takedown at this point. He does. Striped Charge shot in and stopped on his move. They didn't follow through. Tony took advantage of it, spun around and got the 2 points.
Striped Charge second a year ago in this weight class, 112 pounds. I should say fourth at this weight class in 1984. That was 2 years ago. Right now, he's 15 seconds away from finishing second. 6-4 lead for Petone. They can count him down now.
And he's got back points on the buzzer. He should be awarded 2 more. Great finish by Petone. He's a senior, and I'm sure he wanted to go out as winner. I'm sure there's some college coaches looking at him, Dave. He's got a lot of good moves.
There's a happy man who ran in. Maybe his father.
I haven't seen a sad winner yet, Dave. Seems like these guys are totally elated to be here and winning it all.
We'll be back with more of the New York State High School Wrestling Championships after this.
Proper care and feeding of a teenager. Number 1 rule, don't let them drink alcohol. Rule number 2, never let them get into a car with a driver who has been drinking. Rule number 3, never, ever, under any circumstances, allow him to take illegal drugs. To grow up a happy, healthy teenager is important. If you love them, you take good care of them.
Brought to you by the New York State Public High School Athletic Association.
Back at the New York State High School Wrestling Championships in Syracuse, Dave Cohen and John Janiak. At 119 pounds, Richard Santana wearing the green of Section 8. He's a 16-year-old junior at Long Beach High School. And his opponent from Section 11 from Huntington, the 1984 winner, 98 pounds. Now he's jumped up a couple of weight classes here to 119. Gene McNeil out of Huntington, a senior. McNeil and Santana.
Gene is a solid wrestler. Very quick. Extremely offensive. He's a dynamo. He gets out there and he doesn't stop till the match is over. Highly recruited by schools such as Syracuse and Clarion. Two powerhouses in their own right.
From Section 11, season's record 32-0.
This will be an all Long Island final. Nassau against Suffolk. Section 8 against Section 11.
This is for all the bragging rights, Dave, for the rest of the school term.
Here we go. McNeil with his back to you. Santana standing up right now. And they break. Santana interested also in baseball and football. Santana the taller of the two in terms of leverage.
And that doesn't always work out as an advantage or a disadvantage, Dave. Each wrestler, depending on his build, uses it to his advantage. Santana trying to shoot in on a single leg. He's going to have to shoot a little quicker. McNeil's low to the ground. He's got great defense. Good balance.
Stop. Don't stop.
Both men playing the out of bounds.
Don't stop.
50 seconds in.
Both wrestlers a little bit tentative, Dave.
Santana goes without socks.
I see that. Some wrestlers get certain nice stuff. Hip toss by McNeil. He's got Santana in trouble. And he's got plenty of time. Over 40 seconds to work on his pin. He's got to get up on his toes, Dave. He doesn't have. He's not using all his body weight to bring Santana to his shoulders.
He's got the 2 points.
He's got 3 at this point, Dave. He's got the 5 seconds for 3-point criteria points.
He made the move with about 45 seconds left, so he's got plenty of time to work on it.
He's explosive. When he hits, he's hard to catch the move. He just moves so fast.
And they gave him 2 more points, so 5. 5-0 is the lead for McNeil. As we told you before, McNeil trying to do something that has not been done, win 2 championships, not in consecutive years.
That's right. He skipped a year, and he's back trying to impress some of the college scouts. We have another wrestler attempting the same feat later on today.
It'll be Brzezinski.
Brzezinski might be the tallest man in the tournament. He's coming up in the next weight class. Kind of unusual. Really thin and lean.
This is the second period as we wrestle at 119 pounds. Gene McNeil of Huntington, Richard Santana, Long Beach.
Might have been tying up upper body quite a bit, and that got Santana in trouble last time. I think his coach wants him to shoot on the singles, doubles, maybe a fireman's carry. Stay away from McNeil's strong points.
McNeil has been the most outstanding wrestler in the Suffolk tournament. Been a 4-time champ in the Spencer Board tourney.
Spencer Board puts on a great tournament in the Rochester area, very solid in wrestling.
Richard Santana won earlier matches over Tim Finley and Greg Ham, while McNeil took Brian Reed, Bert Bullis, and Mike Segrassi.
Gonna have to suck him up in and try to get some takedown points here. It's down 5-0. He's going to have to open up. Do it, Rick.
As for Rick Brzezinski, who'll be in the next match at 126. Right now, McNeil from Section 11 also.
Heel pick. Come on. Get out of the car.
Again, the pace is kind of slowed down. It's not to Santana's advantage to try to go per body with McNeil. Again, he's going to have to change off, try something different. McNeil is shooting in on a single leg. He stopped.
There have been a number of great wrestlers in collegiate international fame who've participated here in Syracuse, and the one that certainly comes to mind, Jeff Blatnick.
That's right. Jeff had an outstanding career in high school and college, and in the freestyle and Greco-Roman circuit, he has done phenomenally well. Recently,
what
in
other
the
ones
last Olympics.
do you recall? Bannock?
The Bannock brothers, a nice mild family that terrorized the nation, NCAAs. You have the Lieberman brothers out of Pennsylvania that would be their equivalent. Had a lot of wrestlers from Section 5 and 11 and 8 that go out to Iowa and Iowa State, Oklahoma, and doing exceptionally well in the Nationals.
Right here, Gene McNeil leading Richard Santana 8-0. We're in the third and final period.
McNeil's starting to open up. You can see he's got his confidence a little bit. Santana's still tentative, not quite sure what he should shoot. Shoots a single, switches off to a double stop by McNeil.
A minute 20 seconds remaining. Next match at 126, we'll have Rick Brzezinski and Ron Gross.
Suck it up. Suck it up. You got it. Come on, pop out.
Nice move by McNeil.
Break him down. Break him down.
Bopping and weaving and hit a duck under
Break
to the
him
far
down.
side.
It's broken into double figures now with a 10-zip
Stay
lead.
there with him. Break him down.
Out of bounds. He's wrestling with a lot more confidence, starting to open up.
McNeil being recruited by Syracuse and Clarion State of Pennsylvania.
And I'm sure he's going to turn out to be a great college wrestler. McNeil lets Santana up, gets him a 1 point. 30 seconds left. I'm not sure what kind of move Santana has. He better start throwing a few of them out.
I'm sure Syracuse wouldn't mind another Gene, would they?
No, as a matter of fact, I was talking to Gene Mills, who's down to the Eastern Championships in Lehigh earlier this week, and I was kidding him. The only reason he wanted this kid is because he had the same first name. Now that I've seen him wrestle, I can understand why.
And here he is, about to win the New York State Championship. And there he is, Gene McNeil. He may have been injured on that last throw by Santana, but Gene McNeil has himself the state championship. A little pain to go with the pleasure.
Oh, I'm sure it's only going to hurt for a second, Dave.
Congratulations to Gene McNeil. We'll get one more look at the end of this match.
Santana in.
That's a pretty good shot he took.
There's a lot of torque on that move, Dave, to stop the takedown. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a slight sprain.
Now at 126 pounds, representing Section 5, an 18-year-old senior wearing the purple of that section. He's from Wayne High School in Ontario, Ron Gross. And his opponent from Section 11, West Islip on Long Island, wearing the navy of that section, Rick Brzezinski from West Islip High School.
Should be an interesting matchup, Dave. Both wrestlers the same physique, tall, lean. Going to be a lot of leverage. I'd be willing to bet both wrestlers will be using legs, a lot of tilt.
Brzezinski wearing a pair of gym shorts on top of his wrestling uniform.
Well, he's taking them off now.
Thought we had the equivalent of the T-shirt under the basketball jersey.
Oh, there's all kinds of things wrestlers do.
This a little waiting game now that Brzezinski's playing. Gross is out on the mat. He's ready.
It could be, Dave. I watched him in the matches earlier, and he didn't look like he was stalling or playing head games with the opponent. It may be his strategy, or he's just not ready. I'm not sure which it is.
Brzezinski was second last year at 105 pounds. He was a winner in 1984 at 91 pounds. He's already seen Jing McNeil make history by coming back to win a second championship. Separated by a year now, he's trying to duplicate that feat. And he is angular, spider-like.
Nice single attempt, but he's going to have to follow through and get the takedown. These guys are long. That's a lot of leg to wheel in.
And now Ron Gross is a handful of that leg.
Ron Gross
really
having
working on it,
the
too.
same problem there. He kicks out. He's trying to get out of bounds. They almost called him for going out of bounds.
He went right for
Close
the
to a
head.
takedown. Nice move. Great reaction by both wrestlers.
Brzezinski saying something about his sock.
Thought he had his Gross's hand wrapped up in it. Should have been called for grabbing the clothing.
Brzezinski,
Taunting him a little bit.
yeah, give him a look like you can't try that again. He went
Leg
upstairs,
trip.
then he came downstairs. No scoring yet, a minute into the match.
Looked pretty. It's a nice duck under. Didn't complete the move though. A nice roll. Super move by Brzezinski.
And he's going for the pin.
He's got him close to being stuck. He's got plenty of time to work on it.
And a good job
Great
there.
effort fighting off. And he gets a reversal.
By
Great job
Gross.
by Gross.
7 points scored there. 5-2 lead for Brzezinski. That may have been the best action of the entire meet so far.
Generally happens when you have two seniors that are, they know it's their last shot, and they know that there's college scouts in the fans. They want a scholarship. That can be worth $40,000, $50,000 over 4 years.
There's your score, 5-2, Brzezinski.
Kind of slow start by Brzezinski off the bottom. Trying to stand up. Gross is, he's got to move off to the side and start moving up toward the head to work on a pin or a tilt, or they're going to call him for stalling. He also has to bring him to the mat at this point, and he does. Time running out. That was a good first period.
Most scoring we've had in any match so far.
Brzezinski looks a little tired at this point. I don't know if he got caught up in the action and the nerves are a little bit still with him.
Ron Gross will be in the up position. Gross got his 2 points in a reversal.
Brzezinski trying to get hand control underneath so he can stand up. Gross trying to put in the leg, it doesn't work. Armbar by Gross, he's got Brzezinski flattened out. Gonna try to get an armbar on the other side. He's gonna have to get out to the side. Now he's got a 2-on-1 to our side there.
Headgear comes off Brzezinski.
Don't let him keep wrestling, Dave, as long as it doesn't interfere or come around his throat. Gross trying to get out to the side for a tilt, doesn't work. Lets him up.
Gave that up.
He got tired of trying to tilt him. It wasn't working, so he figures he'll try to take him down. That makes our score 6-2, since he's got to put his headgear back on.
And he's going to take his time, I think.
Yeah, once they stop the action, they'll make the wrestler put his headgear on, even if it happens 5 or 6 times. I've seen him tape it to a wrestler's head at one time. They just didn't want to put up with it any longer.
This is action now at 126 pounds. Rick Brzezinski and Ron Gross.
Nice duck under by Gross. Brzezinski in trouble. He's got a 2-point takedown.
Narrows the lead to 6-4, maybe more. "40 seconds to go, second period."
Throws a leg in on far side, and he'll stop the match. Potentially dangerous.
Ryan Gross defeated Ron Borowski, Dal Angus, and Tim Stamfler en route to the championship match. Gross is a silver medal winner in the Empire State Games freestyle and a bronze medal winner in Greco.
And he's trying a combination cradle and armbar. A lot of the fans calling for stalling. I think I know who they want this time, Dave. Brzezinski's not. It's a tough position. You can't get off the bottom when your hands are tied up. But you also want your wrestler to win, so the fans are a little one-sided.
So we go to period number 3. 6-4 is the lead by Brzezinski.
Nice double leg tackle by Brzezinski. He's got it. An award of 2 points.
And he got kicked in the chin. Got kicked there as Gross
tried to leapfrog out of bounds.
I think he was grabbing for a loose tooth.
Shoots in on a double leg. Nice trip at the end of that, Dave. Gain control. They're sitting out of bounds. And there's the kick.
So Brzezinski took a little time at the beginning getting on the mat. Got a little more time for the headgear that flew off. Just got kicked in the chin, in the teeth. But he has an 8-4 lead.
He definitely is wrestling in spurts.
They'll do that again. Yeah, he turns it on.
Right, he turns it on and off. He seems to lull Gross into feeling confident, and boom, hits something right away.
Yeah, lowers the boom with a 2-pointer. He almost rolled him.
Right, Gross is trying the Peterson. He's locking Brzezinski's arm underneath, trying to lock a leg and roll through, coming up with at least a 5-point move. But he's getting himself in trouble. He gave away some back points. And that's what happens sometimes when you use the Peterson and don't complete the move.
10-4 is Brzezinski's lead.
Brzezinski in on a single leg. Referee's indicating he still has control because Gross hasn't escaped yet.
Would he be wise now to give up the point?
Not in this situation, Dave. He's safe. Gross shouldn't be able to do much. And again,
Gross to the pin.
Gross for the pin. He's got him close, plenty of time, but they are near the out of bounds. And I think Gross knows that. Should be 3 points near fall.
Ron Gross, a high school senior. Rick Brzezinski, a senior. Big lead, 13-4 for Brzezinski. So like McNeil, teammate from Section 11, a chance for his second state championship.
Might add that Section 11 has a substantial team standing lead at this point also. With Brzezinski winning, might just sew it up. Gross again getting a little physical out there.
The match, I think, has been closer than the score would indicate.
Yes, tomorrow when you read about it, well, we still have plenty of time left, but it wasn't a runaway victory.
So Brzezinski is about to close his career out with 2 state championships and a second place finish.
I think he's going to be happy with that.
Just missing out on being a 3-time state champ.
Desperation move by Gross. Super match.
1986, 126-pound champion from Section 11, Rick Brzezinski.
So his job is done. He was offered congratulations by Ron Gross. Here he is, a two-time state champion at Section 11, continues to dominate the state championships. Now we move to 132 pounds, Steve Blair of Jordan Elbridge. Section 3,
132 pounds.
a senior, 17-year-old.
From Section 3.
And his opponent will be from Patchogue Medford High School in Patchogue, Long Island, Nick Garone, senior, 18 years of age.
Coached by Mike Crew, Steve Blair.
Section 3, the host school.
Section 11.
Not too many finalists this year, only 2.
Record 29-1-0.
It's been a tough tournament, Dave. Indication being, I thought Syracuse, Central New York, that is Section 3, had a great contingent coming in. Section 11, 8, 5, and 6 brought some studs as well. And there were some close matches in the preliminaries and the semifinals.
Right here, the home wrestler will be the Section 3 wrestler, no surprise. That's the green numbers up on the scoreboard. And that's Steve Blair of Jordan Elbridge.
Jordan Elbridge had a great dual meet team this year as well as a tournament team.
Nick Garone 3 times has won a gold medal in the Empire State Games, 2 times an Eastern champion, and a member of the 1984 Junior Olympic Greco-Roman team.
We should see some upper body technique by Mr. Garone then.
We're at 132 pounds.
And he shoots in on a single leg to the far side.
A little danger there, so they stop it.
The referees really don't want to see anybody get hurt. I don't think the fans do either. Speaking of fans, we have just under 5,000 at the War Memorial today.
This is really an ideal building for a tournament like this. You're just so close to the action.
Everybody has a great seat, Dave. Even the, well, what we call nosebleed city is only up about 50 feet from the mat.
Steve Blair in the yellow of Section 3, Jordan Elbridge High School.
No points yet, Dave. He snapped him by, spun around, but Steve Blair stood up right away. Should get points now.
What advantage does Garone as a Greco wrestler have?
Well, a Greco-Roman wrestler in high school has an advantage because he uses technique that most high school kids do not know how to defense, upper body throws. So it's to his advantage to work those. Steve Blair, though, is a stocky kid. I know he's had some experience, maybe not as much as Garone. It's surprising to see Garone shoot single leg so much.
There's Garone in the lead, 3-0 with 25 seconds to go in the first period. Garone knocked off Lennox Gillen, as well as Tom Ryan and Lou Ruggiero. Blair defeated Ken Kaufman, Trevor Ashline, and Pat Butler. The end of one and a 3-0 lead for Nick Garone. Now Garone will be in control here to begin the second period.
And Steve's got to get off the bottom. He's got to get his 1 point shooting, get his 2. Can't let Garone start getting back points, run away with the meet. It's not that much time in high school wrestling, able to come back over a 5 or 6 point lead. At least most wrestlers, that it.
He gives him the point. Is that an energy conservation move?
Possibly. It's hard to say what's going through Mr. Garone's mind right now. He's probably more comfortable on his feet, and I think it just paid off.
Blair is in trouble.
Blair stopped on a move and got caught. And it was a very costly move indeed.
Garone is ahead 7-1 now. A minute and 10 seconds to go.
Referee watching the arm bar, make sure it's not pulled over too far to make it illegal.
John, can you scout your opponents at this tournament?
You can. As a matter of fact, most of the wrestlers, when they're done wrestling, will run right over to the next mat and watch their opponent. Try to pick up tidbits of information on, what the guy does on his feet, what he does on the bottom, what he doesn't do. Take advantage of it and work it into a strategy for the next match with him.
He surrendered the 1-point escape. He leads 7-2. Obviously feels he's in command. Are there some wrestlers who would prefer not to see their opponent?
Sure. There's a number of wrestlers that will do that. They figure they may get psyched out watching them. It'd be to their disadvantage to know anything about them. This type of tournament, you only see your wrestler once or twice. It's not like a county match where you know the person for 3 or 4 months.
Winding down to the close of the second period, Steve Blair of Jordan Elbridge on the short end, 7-2. And both of his points were conceded on escape.
That's right, Dave. Jerome gave him the 2 points, and both times he took him down with back points involved. Steve's got his work cut out for him. It's down 7-2. He's going to have to get some back points. Probably not all at once.
On deck, Mike Lopresti of Section 5, Brian Burke of Section 8. They'll be going at 138.
Steve's one of 2 Section 3 wrestlers in the finals. And the only one from Jordan Elbridge who sent 3 or 4 wrestlers to the state meet this year.
He'd like to earn some points if he's not going to win the match.
Right, he wants to go out looking good. He's a senior. He's paid his dues. He's been in high school the 4 years with a fine record. I'm sure some scouts from the major colleges are looking at both of these gentlemen.
Section 3 traditionally has a number of strong wrestling teams. Fulton, Canastota, Baldwinsville.
This year they've had some great rankings. Baldwinsville, I believe, was number 2 or 3. Fulton and Canastota right in behind them. But as evident again today, Section 11 and 8 brought some strong squads with them.
Down to the final minute of this match, or so it appears, with a 7-2 lead being enjoyed by Nick Garone from Patchogue, Medford.
Steve Blair has some moves up top. Get some quick points. He better start using them. He's got the legs in. He's working for a guillotine.
Official stops it.
What do you call a stalemate, Dave? Stand up by Garone.
Garone is just very powerful and not allowing Blair to take him down. Tries to reverse it.
Tries a headlock. Steve's still in control. Near the out of bounds. Another stand-up attempt foiled by Steve Blair. He's running that half, trying to get some back points. Garone, extremely strong upper body, just fighting it. It's hard to see what's happening underneath right now. And Section 11 comes away with another individual championship.
So the winner here at 132 from Patchogue, Medford on Long Island, Nick Garone. And we'll be back with more of the New York State High School Wrestling Championships from Syracuse after these words.
Kid, I really want to let kids know that illegal drugs are bad news.
Yes, David, it's true. Over 100,000 teenagers were admitted into hospitals last year because of drugs.
Yeah, but I'm talking about kids' futures. Did you know that marijuana can affect a person's physical and sexual growth?
Yes, that's quite accurate. In a laboratory test, female animals treated with the active component in marijuana experienced a 44% death rate among their offspring.
This is much more important than facts and figures. What kids should know is that marijuana has got more cancer-causing agents than tobacco, and a lot of young kids use drugs on a daily basis.
Actually, Michael, the fact is that 1 in 18 high school seniors smokes marijuana daily, and then there are the occasional users which account
Get
for...
this through your CPU. They don't care about statistics.
You know, you're right. I've got it. Just tell them illegal drugs are bad, so don't mess with them.
Illegal drugs are bad news. Don't mess with them.
Back at the Onondaga County War Memorial, we're getting set now for the final 7 matches. We go to 138 pounds. Brian Burke out of Bethpage High School, Long Island. He's a 17-year-old senior, and Mike Lopresti from Section 5 in Spencerport. He's an 18-year-old senior. Once again, we wrestle 3 2-minute periods. And in the event of a tie, overtime, 3 1-minute periods. We've seen one of those tonight.
Getting into the weight classes where the wrestlers are more defined. Look like 2 very strong wrestlers out there.
Burke is in the green. The blue or the purple belongs to Mike Lopresti.
Again, tying up upper body.
Brian Burke, interested as a senior in continuing his college wrestling career at a number of schools: Clarion, Bloomsburg State, Lock Haven, Central Connecticut, New Hampshire. He's been a bronze medalist in the Empire State Games, a New York State freestyle champ, and an outstanding wrestler in 4 other tournaments. He also plays football at Bethpage. Mike Lopresti from Spencerport, Western New York, looking at Delhi, Alfred, and Brockport, all states. Well, not all state schools, but all within New York State.
All with pretty good wrestling programs. Nice 2-leg, 2-point takedown from Mike Lopresti.
Mike also likes to play football, but his high school Spencerport doesn't have a team, so he plays in the Empire State Football League. Lopresti leading 2-0. And driving Burke down to the mat again.
He's got a tight waist, working on Burke. Working up for an arm bar.
30. Get a point, Brian. Can't just... What's she doing, ref? Where's the pinning combination? Hasn't come out once. Where's the pinning combination?
Seems as though Burke's in some type of pain.
20.
Headgear comes off. He goes down to the mat.
Looking for a tilt. Not quite sure if the official gave him 2 or not. Elevator. He's elevating the bottom leg, trying to get exposure to the Burke's back. Back to referee's position.
Mike Lopresti on the left, leading 2-0 into the second period. Lopresti got here to the finals by defeating Marty Nichols and Cody Button. He had a bye in the first round. Brian Burke, a winner over Tim Matthias, as well as Chris Goddard and Bill Mantanis.
Looks like those were the first 2 points scored on Burke in the entire tournament. Lopresti stands up. Roll through, he comes up, should have 1 point. Calling it out of bounds, no change.
Coach was asking for 1 also.
Judgment call. Couldn't tell whether both men's feet were on the out of bounds, a white line behind the wrestlers at this point.
John, are wrestlers susceptible to any kind of cramping during a match?
Sure, it happens quite often, as a matter of fact. Most of the wrestlers at this point of the game are dehydrated, and they're usually leg cramps from especially this position, fighting off the bottom with all the opponent's weight on them.
Typically, what will a wrestler eat on a day of a match, and how soon before it?
Well, high school wrestling is a little different than the collegiate. They don't have the time that the college wrestlers have. College wrestlers have 5 hours before the meet to weigh in. In high school wrestling, they only have an hour or 2. So they eat something light, usually something they like. because it's really not going to do much for them out on the mat. And they won't gouge themselves, just a small meal.
Are they into the carbohydrate scene?
Not at this point. Lepresti trying to switch, coming through, rolling around, getting no points. Burke regains control on top, using a tight waist 2-on-1. He's going to try an elevator to the side. Wrestlers are starting to get more involved in the nutrition aspect of wrestling. But at this point, I'm sure that they just eat what makes them feel good rather than what's good for them.
How about weight training, Nautilus?
Getting more and more prevalent in the sport. Coaches are getting better acquainted with that too. Years ago, they weren't sure what was good for wrestling. If you got too bulky, you couldn't move out there. But you can lift and stretch at the same time, get stronger, and keep your flexibility. Becoming more scientific. There's more to wrestling than just bullying and ramming.
I guess many of the wrestlers we're watching now are also generally better athletes, all-around athletes. They're involved in baseball. Brodzinski was a golfer. Lacrosse, of course, football.
And he probably was a great golfer, too. Seems like he had a fluid swing out there, motion. Most wrestlers are multi-sport, very competitive individuals. Burke trying to get an elevator here.
10 seconds to go.
What are you doing? That's 4!
Look very close to getting back points.
They're not too happy with the officiating. 2-0 is still the lead by Mike Lopresti. Burke's corner doing the yelling.
Burke feels, his coaches feel that Burke should have gotten at least 4 points in the last 2 tilts. By his record, he gets a lot of back points. He has 24 pins out of 29 matches this year.
Well, in this sport, John, getting on the officials, will it help or hurt?
Like any other sport, Dave, it doesn't help, and they seem to remember you. If it's not the next match, the next year, and you don't get the breaks after that.
Does the wrestler appreciate that, or would he rather get some instruction?
Well, I'm sure he'd rather get some instruction. It's nice hip toss out of bounds. He's not going to get any points for it, Dave.
That was Lopresti's coach, you saw. Still a 3-0 lead now for Lopresti over Brian Burke.
Both wrestlers enjoying the upper body tie-up. Burke's got to watch. He's got his head down. He should be propping it up, trying to get an offensive move. Here he is training with a barrel roll. Out of bounds.
1:24 to go in this period. Burke is in the blue or purple singlet, now on the right of the screen.
He's shooting in on a single leg, not really setting up his move. Cross ankle counter.
There's a warning there issued.
Both men with an over and underhook, trying to get better position, hopefully hit a hip toss or drop down to a single leg.
Neither man in control at this point with 30 seconds to go.
As he snaps down, goes behind, and snaps his headgear off at the same time. Throwing in the leg. It's going to pull him down, Dave. We might get some back points, no by the official.
Burke trying to...
Burke's going the wrong way. He's just looking for trouble in this position. He's lucky he didn't get 2 back points called against him there.
1986, 138.
That's the end of the third period.
From Spencerport High School, Section 5, Mike Lopresti.
And Mike Lopresti in control. pitches the shutout. 5-0 win over Brian Burke. His coach really exploded there at the finish.
I don't know who's happier.
And a big victory for Mike Lopresti. Let's go down to 145 pounds. Marty Sullivan of Section 4, 18-year-old senior out of Horseheads High School. And Joe Herman, 17-year-old senior out of Cottaquot High School. A year ago, he was third at 138 pounds. Joe Herman, he'll be in the Navy uniform. There he is from Section 11.
32, 1-0 and 6 pins. Career record 61, 21 and 3 from Horseheads High School.
Joe Herman undefeated in his senior year at 35-0. And guess where his college choices will come down to? Lehigh and Syracuse.
Well, they're two very good choices. I'm sure that both coaches really looking forward to this kid. He's a go-getter. Highly recruited.
Marty Sullivan in the red. He wants to attend Slippery Rock. Here we go. Sullivan on the left, or he was a moment ago. He's in the red. And Joe Herman.
Snap down, spin behind by Herman. I believe he's got the 2-point takedown.
Yep. You can really see now the upper body definition as we move up to 145.
Herman lets Sullivan up for 1 point.
Two to 1 is the score here in the first period. Joe Herman in the blue, Marty Sullivan in the red.
Nice high crotch shot by Herman. Extremely quick for such a solid, well-built wrestler. You figure he'd be slow, a little bit sluggish.
Joe Herman defeated Ray Norton, then Jay Wilson and McNaughton to get to the finals. Marty Sullivan with wins over Tom Gleason, Gordy Ayan, and Quint Kessenich.
Another single-legged tap. Both men are respecting each other on their feet. Nice barrel row to his back. He's got at least 2 back points, possibly 3.
Real precarious position there by Sullivan.
I'm sure Marty Sullivan wants the clock to hurry up and tick away. He's got 20 seconds left in the period. He does get off his back.
Big lead now by Joe Herman. It's up to 7-1 as the first period ends.
Doesn't seem like 7-1. Not that much action, but a lot of points scored for the first period. It says here Joe Herman is a baseball and cross-country runner. Seems kind of wide to be running cross-country. But I'm sure that helps his conditioning. I wonder if it'll pay off in the third period.
Hey, he is not your prototype cross-country man.
Not at all.
Must be tough to get by him, though, in the woods.
You could probably hear him trudging along quite well, though. Yeah, he probably blocks the path. He gets out front and wins every race.
You want to bet he's a catcher?
I wouldn't touch that one. I think you're right.
And he's a pretty good wrestler, too. He's halfway to a New York State championship after being third last year, 138 pounds.
And he's also called for stalling. Referee doesn't think he's working for the fall on top, and I have to agree with the ref. He's going to have to get out to the side. Here he's working on a half Nelson.
Joe Herman in his career, 117 wins, 16 losses, and 1 tie, 1 draw. Shoots low, now he comes up high.
Gonna snap down, go behind. 2 easy points for Joe Herman.
Now up to a 9-2 lead. He's relentless, too. Gives up the escape there.
Definitely feels more comfortable on his feet. He's taking Marty Sullivan down at will. Marty's going to have to take it to him. I don't think he's going to be happy with a loss in the state championship here. And just as I say that, he shoots in, gets a 2-point takedown.
Now 9-5. Look at the strength, though, of Herman.
He is a big 145-pounder. I bet you in the off-season he's got to be 20 pounds heavier. Do you think he lifts at all, Dave? Lifts weights at all?
When does he have time? In cross country?
Maybe he runs to the weight room.
Steve Matola, Section 2, please return.
Certainly couldn't be 20 pounds heavier in the fall season if he's running.
This is true. It's probably right around July 4th. And then he starts running again. Well, I'll tell you, whatever school this guy chooses, he's going to be very happy.
Picks up a point on the escape.
He's a solid wrestler.
He's up 10-5.
He's good on the bottom, on top. Excellent at takedowns.
I've never known of anybody in college to double up in cross country and wrestling.
Nobody to my knowledge. Although most wrestlers do put in a lot of road work to lose that weight. They don't do it for record times. They kind of trot along at their own pace.
Joe Herman is out of Connequot High School in Suffolk County, Section 11. There's little doubt that they will prevail as the team champions.
They seem to be running away with a team championship.
Leading Section 658, 34291. Then the Catholic High Schools, Section 10-7, and the PSAL.
Joe snapped Marty down once again and spun behind. He's done that to him 3 times. Marty's got to shoot in with his head up.
After this match, we'll jump up to 155 pounds. Mike Malenfant of Averill Park High School and Richard Schur of Spencerport.
Have a quick timeout here. It seems Marty Sullivan cut his tongue or his lip.
Official 8x10 photographs of the awards presentation.
Well, these final matches have been remarkably free of injury.
So far, and I hope it remains that way.
We have not had any pins also.
Now, we did have the technical fall by a 15-point decision, and I believe it was Dave Petoni that was very close, pinning twice on the buzzer.
And an escape for Marty Sullivan, now trailing 12-7.
Both men with a 2-on-1 tie-ups.
Herman tried to go low and just manhandles Marty Sullivan right there.
Showed a little bit of his strength right there.
He wanted some points there right at the end.
145 pounds, 1986 New York State champion.
And he's thrilled with what he has. Joe Herman of Connequot has won the New York State Championship after being third a year ago, defeating Marty Sullivan 12-7. And we'll be back with more of the State High School Championships from Syracuse after these messages.
Jane makes her parents very proud. She's on the honor roll and plans to go to college. Starred in her class's last play. She plays clarinet in the school orchestra. Yes, Jane knows about drugs. In a way, she's lucky. She knows better. Some people don't realize that marijuana and driving don't mix. But Jane's brother reminds her every day that some trips last forever.
Brought to you by the New York State Public High School Athletic Association.
We move up now to 155 pounds. Mike Malenfant out of Averill Park High School, an 18-year-old senior who's won 30, lost only one in his final high school season. And Richard Schur of Section 5, an 18-year-old senior, Spencerport. He too has lost only once, 36 wins and 1 loss. Richard Schur considering Syracuse, Brockport, and the University of Rhode Island as places to continue his wrestling career and get his college education. And speaking about the combination of other sports and wrestling, Richard Schur, an all-county pole vaulter.
It's kind of hard to believe, as big as he is, Dave, going up over the bar.
Pole vaulters have tremendous upper body strength.
They certainly do.
Richard Schur, he's in the maroon outfit, representing Section 2. And the blue or purple is Richard Schur of Spencerport.
Both wrestlers filling each other out. We got a hip toss, no points yet, but he Schure's got a 2-point takedown. Rolled through, no back points.
Mike Malenfant was 4th in the freestyle and the Greco wrestling in the Empire State Games. There's an escape for Malenfant, now trailing 2-1.
Nice double leg tackle if he completes it, 2 points.
Sure, looks to be another one of the wrestlers who can go at it in spurts.
Seems to be turning it on and off at will. And again, the quickness of the 45 and 55 pounders is quite remarkable. Somebody that big moving that fast.
We've got an injury timeout. Malenfant getting a little water while Schur gets a little attention there. You're watching the New York State High School Wrestling Championships at the Onondaga County War Memorial, the 6th year that McCall Cablevision, Cable 13 Sports has been on the scene. And we hope you're enjoying it wherever you're watching tonight. John Janiak is with us, former Syracuse wrestler. Outstanding one. Another escape.
Malenfant tried a switch, was stopped by Schur. Got the escape.
Oh, what a takedown.
That's the 3rd double leg takedown Schur has hit. I'd venture to say that's his best move in a standing position. Malenfant better find out how to stop it if he's going to make this a close match. Looks like Schur's bleeding again. It looks like he's cut on the bridge of his nose.
A little blood under his right eye and on the bridge of his nose. But he's not hurting on the scoreboard, leading 6-2.
Yeah, he's bleeding everywhere. Looks like a little bit on his lip too.
I believe his brother John won the state championship 2 years ago at 145 pounds. This is action now at 155.
It's not surprising to see a family member. History of the states, the Bannock brothers, Medinas. I know the list goes on. It is a family sport. I'm sure it starts in the living room of most suburban houses.
I know I've got 2 boys, and they go at it pretty good.
And I'm sure they don't know the rules yet.
They're 10 years apart, too.
Must be a lot of fun at home, Dave.
Second period about to unfold. 6-2 lead for Richard Schur, Spencerport. 3 takedowns in that first period by Sure against Mike Malenfant.
And he stands up, escapes, get his one point right away.
Now he leads 7-2.
We'll have to see if Mr. Sure shoots in on double leg tackle once again. And yes, he does. Right off the whistle.
And doesn't have the success this time. Not yet, at least.
This time, Malenfant did what he had to do to stop the move. He sprawled, put his weight down, tied him up. He's got some type of front headlock on Sure. Malenfant is, that is. Seems every weight class we had so far, most of the wrestlers are very comfortable with the head tie-up, head and arm, head and shoulder, as this position we're seeing on the screen now. Which really doesn't help either wrestler, so I'm surprised they're doing it so often.
John, the collegiate style of wrestling is kind of in between high school and the international style. Do Americans benefit by the collegiate style?
No, I think it puts our wrestlers at a disadvantage, Dave. You strive to be the best you can be in a certain style, and a year later you're wrestling a Russian or a Hungarian that's been wrestling the international style for 10, 15 years. It's a readjustment, and we're doing extremely well at it, but I think we could do better if at once we just change the whole intercollegiate and high school wrestling sport to international. Sure, some people would suffer at first, but I think in a year or two we'd be better off.
Do you anticipate any movement in that direction?
Well, just that the rule changes the last couple of years, you've seen the tendency to lean toward the international rules. A nice double leg again by Richard Sure. To his back, he's got back points. There's 3 back points.
10 seconds to go in the period. 4 takedowns in this match by Richard Sure. And he piled up some points there at the end of the period to take a commanding 12-2 lead.
Being encouraged by some of his fans to get 5 more points and end the match.
Richard Sure's road to the finals. A victory over John Richard. A defeat of Ron Fedque. And a victory over Dave Vincent. Mike Malenfant taking out Joe Cincamani, Joe Cardone, and Wayne Wilson.
This time Sure changed off to a single leg. Not quite successful, but I think he's going to get the 2-point takedown.
Waiting in the wings at 167, Matthew Wilson of Lawrence High School and Drew Jackson of Huntington. Another Long Island grudge match.
2 seniors, that should be a good match.
The outcome really not in doubt in this match. Richard Sure leading Mike Malenfant 12-2.
Little duck under. Not over yet. Mike Malenfant getting a 2-point takedown. Makes it 12-4 with a minute left in the match.
And I don't suppose Sure will be in too much of a hurry to do anything now.
No, I think he's content to lay on his belly. But the officials won't let it last too long. He's going to have to make some attempt to get off bottom.
Time is definitely on his side.
Little sit out, turn in.
Half a minute to go.
Should get 1 point for an escape. He's very close.
And they drive out of bounds. All right, Malenfant obviously needs a pin to win it now. Is there one move he should shoot for?
Well, on top, he's going to have to use his best move, whatever he's taken 24 opponents to their back for a pin this year.
What would you do, John?
What would I do? I would go into what I did best, a crab ride to a half Nelson for a pin. And if I were Gene Mills, I'd go to my half, and let's see what Mike has. He goes to a cradle, and it's a good cradle. He brings him over, but it's a roll through.
And we're under 10 seconds to go. So he's pulling out all the stops. He just doesn't have enough time.
I think he waited a little bit too long to open up.
Crowd appreciates his effort. Certainly nothing to be ashamed about as he controlled the action there in the third period. But sure, piled up the points early.
I'm sure he's going to do a great job in college.
And the high school careers of these two young men have just come to a close with Richard Schur winning the state championship at 155 pounds.
Area of the building. That's Tom Martin of Waverly. Report to the stage area of the building.
Now we jump to 167, an all Long Island finale. Matthew Wilson of Section 8, 17-year-old senior from Lawrence High School in Cedarhurst. And his opponent will be Drew Jackson, also a 17-year-old senior out of Huntington. Between them, they have won 62 matches without a loss this year.
Matthew Wilson, senior, 17
Drew Jackson is on the right, Matthew Wilson on the left.
85-86 record, 30-0. Career record 112 and 14.
Jackson, another sockless wrestler.
Huntington, coached by Lou Gianni, Drew Jackson.
I hope he does better than our last sockless wrestler. He didn't fare too well in an earlier match. Both of these wrestlers are very highly recruited. Nice upper body throw, no points. Good action-reaction by both wrestlers.
The crowd is on the edge of their seats already. Matt Wilson with his back to you now. He's in the green. Trying to roll over Drew Jackson.
No points awarded yet. Both men are out of bounds.
And a technical there?
Referee feels that Mr. Jackson was deliberately trying to go out of bounds to avoid being taken down for 2 points. This could be a preview of many years together, these two guys. Both are recruited by Syracuse. Now, if they end up in the same wrestling room, it could be a long 4 years in college.
One to nothing is the lead, being enjoyed by Matt Wilson over Drew Jackson.
Some good counter wrestling there. The fans wanted a similar call of 1 point going out of bounds, but he didn't get it.
We know Matt Wilson also plays football. We're in period number 1, 1-0. A point awarded to Wilson. And an injury suffered by Jackson.
Jackson, the more aggressive of the wrestler, trying to rush in 2-on-1, Dave, trying to open up the match. It's kind of hard to throw your best stuff at someone. There's a replay. Not quite sure what, if he bumped heads or shoulder on his head.
He's obviously okay and ready to continue with 23 seconds to go in the first period.
Both wrestlers sizing each other up again. Came out like gangbusters.
End of one and very close. Now the flip. Choice belongs to Matt Wilson.
That chooses the top position. Switch attempt by Drew Jackson.
Driven to the mat.
He stood up extremely fast, but he failed to get hand control. He's going to have to be more aware of what Mr. Wilson's going to do on top. That'll be caution bottom, man. Hey, caution the top man. And there's that 1 point penalty for 2 cautions, Dave. That evens the score up 1-1.
So each point awarded by the official. This one is about as even as you can get.
Yeah, this is a deadlock. Both wrestlers are super, and I think they respect each other's talent, and that often ends up in a very close, low-scoring match. A lot of almost moves in there. Little hip toss, counters, trips.
No offensive points awarded yet. What will the criteria be if this one goes to overtime?
Well,
without a takedown.
We'll have to see what happens. I'm not quite sure, Dave. I think they might go with the first, or probably going out of bounds would be a more severe penalty than the 2 cautions.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Almost escaped.
No points. Coach, he's right out there.
Coach from Huntington feels his man should have got a 1 point escape.
Matt Wilson's in the green, Drew Jackson in the navy. And a point awarded there to Jackson. These two are first-time finalists, both of them 17-year-old seniors from Long Island.
Double leg tackle, he's in tight. He's going to have to come up to get control and get the 2 points. They're just saying that man that shot in was locking his hands. They gave him a 2 point takedown. I think it was a good call.
The score now is 4-2 in favor of Drew Jackson. The coaches want some kind of clarification. On top now is Jackson on the scoreboard as well. Second period action.
Jackson working the arm bars. Half Nelson. Here he's going to tilt to the side. He does have the 2 points. That's the end of the second period.
Now the coaches, I think, want further clarification. As we get set for the third period. And Jackson will start in the upper position. Drew Jackson is from Huntington High School. And Matt Wilson out of Lawrence.
Doesn't look like either man wants to be out there right now. It's not a lot of action going on. No pin attempt, no escape attempt.
6-2 is the lead by Jackson.
Somebody's going to get hit for stalling. I'm not sure who at this point. Drew Jackson working for an armbar for a pin, but he has to get out to the side. There he goes. He's trying to run it around the head now.
Warning to the green for stalling with 58 seconds to go. Drew Jackson beat Ben Weinthal, Steve Hart, and Clarence Cleveland. Matt Wilson's road to the finals, a win over Dan Uteg, Jim Shear, and Bob Black.
Hey, Wilson seems to be extremely tired at bottom.
Another point awarded to Jackson. He leads 7-2.
Take some oxygen in.
Wilson looks like he's a little gassed at this point.
Yeah, I think third period, he looked great in the first period. If he would have got that first hip toss, things could have been a little different. Just a little bit tired.
New York State, 167-pound champion from Section 11, Drew Jackson.
Two happy warriors, one obviously more happy than the other. And there's your winner, Drew Jackson from Huntington High School. Another victory for Section 11. Next up, the 177-pounders, and they chant in the background of Zito, Zito, Zito. He's from Lancaster. He's a 17-year-old junior. And his opponent will be Section 4's Russ Ellers, a 17-year-old senior out of Waverly High School. Russ Ellers in 1985 was fourth at 155 pounds. Now he's up 22 pounds. Zito and Ellers.
17-year-old senior from Section 4. Season's record 32-3-0, 25 pins. Career record 109-32-2.
That's Zito on the right there. In the orange of Section 6. And his opponent will be Russ Ellers. Both are football players in addition to being wrestlers. They're awaiting the officials for this match.
Say, we could have our first
Chairman, turn in your pins and keys,
first pin.
Section Chairman, turn in your pins and keys.
Between the two of these guys, they have 45 pins this season.
Now the officials are on, and these two just can't wait to get started. Zito and Ellers. Zito takes him down.
No points awarded yet, Dave. He's on the line. He's got the 2 points.
And he keeps him in bounds. Takes him down again.
And out of bounds.
Zito's obviously got a large and vocal contingent here as he works on Russ Ellers. He's up 2-0.
Joe's brother, John, wrestled for Syracuse University. Was a 2-time state champ. from the Rochester area. Since then, the family has moved to the Buffalo area, where Joe hopefully will become a 2-time state champ.
Very nice escape.
But he's got his work cut out for him.
Ellers back up on his feet, down only 2-1. Zito looks like he has real good balance. Oh, nice. Terrific move.
Just working on the head, trying to get the other shoulder blade down, Dave. He's got one down, and it is a pin, our first pin of the meet.
Oh, they love him here, and they love him in Lancaster. Joe Zito.
I had a feeling we'd see a pin.
That was an explosive move to set it up, John.
Joe hip toss. Russ to his back. Russ very close to being pinned right now. And here Joe reaches for the head to pull the other shoulder blade down to the mat. And we can just see it, and there's the pin.
As soon as he contacted the mat, that was it with the other shoulder blade. Joe Zito goes 38-1-0 in his senior year with his 21st pin. And now we'll move from the jubilation of that victory up to 215 pounds. A real leap up in weight. Mike McDowell of Averill Park representing Section 2, a 17-year-old junior. And Robert Murphy from Chaminade, the first Catholic High School Athletic Association wrestler to make it to the finals in the history of this tournament. He too is 17-year-old and a senior. 33-0. This year, 94-10 in his career. Robert Murphy. Murphy's first out on the mat as he awaits Mike McDowell.
Both of these wrestlers showed some great agility in the previous matches, the semis and the quarters. They're not your standard heavyweight, do-nothing type wrestlers. They move well. They got some great moves.
McDowell has 26 pins, 20 by Robert Murphy. It's a little tough to distinguish the colors and differentiate between them, but the man who has the tights on, has the entire leg covered, is Mike McDowell. Section 11 still leading in the team scoring over Section 6 now. As you watch these pair of 215-pounders in what has been, so far, an uneventful first period. Crowd still buzzing as a result of that pin by Zito.
Pin often leaves you in that feeling of jubilation.
Murphy's got his cheering section here as well. Takes his man down, but he throws him out of bounds. No points.
Tried a leg trip, almost had it, ran out of mat space. McDowell considerably taller than Murphy. Must have at least 8 inches to a foot on him.
One minute to go in this first period. Down to the mat they go. Close. Very close. Murphy in control of McDowell.
I think he'll get the 2 back points, but he's not going to get, or takedowns, not 2 back points. He does give him the 2 back points. I had a feeling he was on the line. Obviously, the referee had a better position on it.
Murphy will be in the up position now. He's leading 4-0.
The semifinals, Murphy took advantage of 2 missed throws or miscues by his opponent on the way to victory.
He defeated Randy Cotton 7-1 in overtime. Murphy also beat Jeff Wilson after getting a bye in the first round.
Has a tendency to sit on top and does get called for stalling.
There's the escape. 4-1 lead for Murphy. Mike McDowell beat William Smith, Don Reidenauer. And he too had to buy in the first.
Another leg trip. This time he gets him.
And just before the end of the period, he ups his lead to 6-1 over Mike McDowell. Don't go away because we'll have the final match of the championships coming up right after this one. Bill Shanley and Patrick Halpin. Halpin out of Baldwinsville, Shanley from Williamsville South.
Dow working, I believe, for far side cradle. Right now he's got a head lever. Murphy finding difficulty to get out from underneath. But probably not worrying too much about it, leading 6-1.
Not much in the way of offense from Mike McDowell.
Now Mike's laying on top. He's not getting out to the side as much as he should. Now he's going to tilt. Didn't have control, and you saw Murphy roll through.
Now he has control, but can he do something with it?
There's a lot of movement, but no one's completing a move. Mike McDowell remains on top, close to the out of bounds near the head table.
Murphy won a gold medal at the Empire State Games in this weight class, 215.
Section 6 key.
Good solid wrestling.
Cancel, we found.
26 seconds left in the 215-pound weight class, second period.
Dow again getting out to the side.
Warning there.
And he is going to get some back points this time. Yeah, Murphy got called for stalling just beforehand.
Tried the arm bar there at the end. Did he get some more points?
Coaches,
He's going to get 2 for back points. That brings him match score to 6-3 going into the third period.
They'll both start up. Here we go, the third period. Let's see what McDowell can come up with. Murphy appears to have the strength advantage.
And probably some experience being a senior.
Trying to become the first state champion representing the Catholic High School Athletic Association.
Headlock attempt by McDowell. He almost has it. Murphy does fight away.
And as he does, he runs some valuable time off the clock. Murphy now with the upper hand in the headlock.
McDowell's got his head down in a single leg attempt.
What's he going to try to do right now? Roll him?
He's locking his arms underneath. Right now he's going to stand up. Referee called stalemate. But it looked like he was going to try to hit a barrel roll. Hopefully get 2 for the takedown and 3. Hopefully 3 for back points.
Under a minute to go. A 6-3 lead. Not what you'd call comfortable.
Referee Gene Miley warning Robert Murphy for stalling. That's 1 point. That brings the match score to 6-4.
Now McDowell needs that takedown to tie this up. Here they go with 30 seconds to go.
It's in tight. He's got the single, switching off to a double. Very close to the 2 points. He does get the 2.
Tied at 6-6. 15 seconds to go.
Very close to reversal. He does get the reversal.
5 seconds left. Can he retie it?
He does retie it. He gets it.
Yes!
He does get the 2 points. I think we have an overtime bout.
They look toward the scorer's table. Scoreboard says 10-8 Murphy.
I got lost in all the scoring going on.
And it is Murphy winning it. So a great finish by Mike McDowell. But he comes up 2 points short, and Robert Murphy becomes the first Catholic high school state champion. And so a tremendous finish to the next to the last bout. And now we go to the 250-pounders. Bill Shanley of Williamsville South, Section 6, 16-year-old junior.
16-year-old junior.
And Patrick Halpin out of Baldwinsville, 17-year-old junior.
29-1-0. Career record 64-18-0.
Shanley, 29-1 in his junior year. And Baldwinsville's Halpin, 29-4.
Coached by Jim Lamb, Bill Shanley.
There's a look at Halpin,
17-year-old junior.
the hometown favorite.
Season record 29-4-0 with 18 wins.
Shanley being recruited by some of the heavyweights of college football. Southern California, Oklahoma, Clemson, Miami of Florida, and Syracuse. I guess he can play.
Yeah, he's probably a talented all-around athlete.
Patrick Halpin, second in the national freestyle competition. Played on the Baldwinsville Section 3 high school championship team. Well, runner-up, that is, to RFA.
Got a double-A tackle, but there's no points awarded.
They nearly go off the mat. Hard to believe Shanley is 250 pounds looking at him because he's so well proportioned.
He may be somewhere between 215 and just too heavy to get down to 215, so he decided to go up. And you're right, he is lean. I bet he's about 240, 245. Double leg tackle, he's in deep.
Shanley's out of Williamsville South High School. This is it, the final match of the high school championships for 1986. We have no scoring yet. 45 seconds into period one.
Halpin very close to being taken down. As long as he keeps those hands locked, I don't think, and he just broke them. That's 2 point, and I think some back points, 2 or 3.
At least 2 so far up on the board. He wants that pin. Picks up 2 more. 2 wrestlers who are only juniors.
I'm sure the football coaches at those universities you mentioned earlier are just drooling over this kid. He is big.
Of course, Syracuse had success with a pretty good high school wrestler from this area, a guy named Tim Green.
Yeah, what can you say about Tim that hasn't been said? Super wrestler, fantastic football player. He sure did. He was a state champ. He wasn't here all but, 4 years ago. built very similarly to this gentleman from Section 6.
Halpin is in trouble. Four 0 lead by Shanley.
Gonna pick up a couple back points here, I believe 2.
Many of the competitors who are all through now have moved down closer to the mats as this annual affair is drawing toward a close. Pat Halpin out of Baldwinsville High School. Shanley looking to escape or perhaps reverse.
Tries to sit out, turn in, Halpin catches the arm from behind. And potentially dangerous.
And Shanley holding his wrist might indicate a shoulder strain of some kind.
Got a little extended out as he was hitting a sit out. And there's a lot of weight out on the mat right now.
How much time will they allow him? I think we saw it right there, the grimace on the face of Bill Shanley.
In the auditorium at this time for awards presentation.
He's being rubbed out, but I'm sure he's going to be okay. I believe he's allowed 2 minutes in high school wrestling for injury time.
The pause here probably will help Halpin in terms of getting his wind. And here we go. Goes right to that arm again, doesn't he?
And I don't think it's deliberate. I think that's his offense. He's trying to chop the arm, flatten his opponent out.
Who's in control right now?
To the referees, it's the bottom man because the top man hasn't escaped completely or bettered his position. It sure doesn't look that way, but that's the way the rules go.
They go at it again. 1:38 to go in the second period. It's a 6-0 lead for the man in orange, Bill Shanley.
Can help him working on the arm bars, head levers. Not so sure the ref isn't being overly cautious at this point. Helping trying to use the arm lever, running around.
I think
Shanley's
Halpin's too pleased with these stoppages.
Another sit out, turn in. Really working that arm.
Illegal hold. And the penalty will go against Halpin, who's now down 7-0. What was illegal about it, John?
I was trying to figure that out. I couldn't see from the camera angle unless he was pulling on jersey or didn't have control of all of his fingers. I'm not sure where it was. Because the head lever is a legal move, and that's the move I thought he had on.
He just can't budge Shanley, can he?
No, he's just too big. I think he's going to have to change his offense. He does come in with a half on the other side.
Shanley's in some pain. And the clock not only ran out, it ran off. And it comes back on. I don't know if the period had come to an end, but as the clock came back on, the score was erased and so was the time. I heard somebody say 45 seconds. I guess both big men will benefit now by this pause. They're going to run that clock down now, I think, to 45 seconds. 43. The old pull the plug trick.
I wonder which fan did that. But you're right, both wrestlers are taking advantage of the timeout. They're both starting to breathe a little heavier.
7-0 is the lead by Shanley. These are the heavyweights, 250. A little different technique tried by Halpin.
Not quite sure what that move was.
He's in trouble. Big trouble. He avoids the pin. 3 points, though, picked up by Halpin. I should say by Shanley. But now leads it 12-0.
Halpin was trying a move called a Merkle with a front headlock and using a leg to roll Shanley over the top, and it must not have had control. Lost it halfway through. Shanley picked up 5 quick points.
So we are down to the final 2 minutes or less. If Shanley can pick up 3 points, they'll win this match.
Fans yelling there's not enough points on the scoreboard. Shanley going in with a half Nelson, trying to put this match and get it over with.
Halpin, I hope he'll realize afterwards he's up against one of the great high school athletes in the country.
I think he knows that right now. He's in big trouble.
But each is only a junior. Do they have wrestling camps they can attend in the off-season, John?
Sure, there's wrestling camps. They'll start when school's over, third week, last week in June, and there'll be one every week. Different parts of the state, maybe even in the Northeast. And most wrestlers will take advantage of them. That's where they pick up some more different moves, work on technique with some veterans like Gene Mills and Jim Hall and some people that have been around the world, showing what moves work in the international.
Some of the people you've seen tonight, you'll no doubt hear about in the future.
Helping with a reversal.
Collegiate ranks, international competition, maybe even the Olympics. Time is running out on the man on top right now, Pat Halpin. He's looking to get on the scoreboard.
It's close, but Shanley still has his left knee. I think it'll be a stalemate within a second or two.
Well, they've been like this for about 15 seconds now. And the crowd may elect to count it down. It's all over. And 2 points picked up by Pat Halpin there in the final minute of the match. Bill Shanley of Williamsville South becomes the 250-pound champion from New York State, and he is one tired one exhausted wrestler at the conclusion of the competition.
Good match. I know he's happy.
So there you have it. The wrestling is complete. And we'll come back in just a couple of seconds to tell you about the most outstanding wrestler at the 1986 state championships from Syracuse.
You know, it's hard work keeping in shape, but it's important to me to be the best that I can be and look the best that I can look. I don't go through all this to impress other people. I do it because I care about me. I care about my body and my health, but most importantly, I care about feeling good about myself. That's why I would never, ever take illegal drugs. You know, I've seen some people who smoke marijuana, and they seem to lose pride in their appearance. They lose their motivation to achieve. And let's face it, what goes in your body eventually shows up on the outside. The bottom line is stay away from drugs, but do it because you care about yourself.
Brought to you by the New York State Public High School Athletic Association.
All the wrestling is complete. The awards are now being given out. And here's the man who puts it all together and makes it possible, Reed Hork, the chairman of the New York State High School Wrestling Championships. Reed, sum this up in your words. How did it go this year?
Very well. We had a very good tournament. The weather was with us, so we had a lot of people that traveled in. Hotels downtown were sold out weeks ago, and our attendance was up. We've been down a little bit the last couple of years, but we had also a full house tonight, so we were happy about that.
John Janiak is a graduate of this tournament and had an outstanding wrestling career.
Reed, why do you think that wrestling has their act together? Why year after year they perform and put on a great state tournament where some of the other sports seem to fail and lag behind?
Well, I think in the beginning we had our problems, but as you see, we're in our 24th year, and of course the programs in a lot of the schools and sections are just super, and even those who, typical of this tournament, I understand that no champions were from 8, 4, 3, so now some of the have-nots are starting to get in, and it's a result of good programs in the local area, so this is good. But number of years helps, and we've learned and we've had some mistakes, but we're happy now.
I don't think there was any doubt about the outstanding wrestler in this tournament. Let's look at it now. Just moments ago, they awarded the most outstanding wrestler award to this man, Jeff Prescott, and he won a 15-0 decision.
Yeah, he's a super kid. He's only a junior. When I read the article that Neil Kerr wrote to be put in the program, I was so impressed because I really didn't know that much about him, but I think this is his 77th bout in a row that he's won. Last bout he lost was here as a freshman, so he's got another year to go and a good future. I'm sure colleges are looking at him now.
John, I know you were very impressed by him.
He was the best. Voted by the coaches, the press, definitely the cream of the crop.
Joe Zito, and Rick Brzezinski also got consideration in that most outstanding wrestler category. And I understand there's a new record also by Section 11 in the team scoring.
Yes, I heard that. They really had a powerful team, and hopefully, there was talk that they were going to drop out of the state competition, but that's been rescinded, and I hope they're considering that, the state tournament is a place for all their teams to go, not only wrestling. So they've got a super team, no doubt about it.
Reed, once again, our congratulations to you on running such a fine tournament.
Thank you, Dave.
Reed Hork, the chairman of the State Wrestling Championships, and John Janiak has helped us, along with his expert commentary. Thank you, John, for joining us.
Thank you very much, Dave.
So that's the story from the New York State High School Wrestling Championships here at Syracuse. Hope you enjoyed it wherever you were watching in New York State. The producer of the New York State High School Wrestling Championships, Bob Jubinville. Our director has been Gary Mariano. Our remote supervisor, Andy Swike. As we conclude our 6th year of covering the New York State High School Wrestling Championships, we want to thank all of these people who made it possible. And thank you for joining us for the 1986 New York State High School Wrestling Championships. This has been a presentation of Cable 13 Sports and McCaw Cablevision of Syracuse, the leader in local sports television.